What are the interconnections between confidence and aging, especially solo aging? What are the physical, mental, emotional, soulual, spiritual, and holistic factors affecting confidence and solo aging? And what are ways to use confidence to leverage solo aging outcomes like living a great life? These were questions that were posed to me after a short presentation that I had made. And I thought, great questions. So why don't we take a look at them? And thus I created this presentation. Confidence is the key to solo aging experiences, to live a Hale and Hearty legacy life. So I took the questions that were given to me and I just upped the game a little bit so I could just play with some words that are have great meaning for me and to bring them to you through this video. Let's look at three aspects of this title because what it will do is it will give us a foundation to work from before I go into sharing with you a path, your path, a way forward. Now, confidence, the key. Yes, it is. Confidence is about the strength, courage to face challenges, to attain the goals, navigate life's unpredictable journey, um, considers resilience and grace. It's about trusting in your own judgment and decision making, your knowledge and skills to face whatever comes your way. So it's something that you can develop, and over time, you can strengthen it, improve it, and focus it. The two solo aging experiences, linking the confidence to solo aging experiences. Solo aging experiences are the challenges, opportunities, and dynamics that persons who are solo aging, that is, aging without a spouse, a partner, children to provide support or companionship. What it means is evolve. It means living the aging process independently, deciding about health care, finances, housing, social engagements without traditional family structures. And therefore, solo agers rely on friendships, community networks, and professional services to maintain a quality of life and to address their evolving needs as they age. So, this notion of to live a Hale and Hearty legacy life, what this one is about is to live a vibrant and purposeful life that leaves a meaningful impact on others now and from the future, about maintaining physical well being, mental acuity, emotional resilience to fully enjoy life and continue pursuing your interests and contributions. I use Hale and Hearty because they are the core words linked with health and wealth. And legacy life is something that I'll be sharing a little bit more about as we move into the presentation. So, this combination of Hale and Hearty legacy life entails certainly shaping the legacy, the meaningful projects that you want to bring forward for the society, the community, while at the same time fostering connections with others, leaving behind um, markers, monuments, museum pieces that reflect one's values and aspirations. Throughout this presentation, I am going to highlight the following. Confidence plays a crucial role in your unique journey as a solo ager. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a path. It's a path that I have created for myself. It's one of many. I thought that this one would make the most sense for this presentation. So, what I'm going to be encouraging you to do is to pull out your paper and pencils, colored pencils or pens, the tablet, whatever it might be, so that you can take some notes and create your path. So please edit whatever I'm going to share here with you. And by edit, I mean add, alter, delete, whatever makes sense for you. Now, because I'm going to use elements of my own journey, I'm also going to bring in a character by the name of Walter Water Hibbot. Now, Walter is a fictional character in my writings, and he's a composite of the people, the persons I've interacted with over time, helping them with mentoring as legacy. So I'll be using Walter to illustrate some points along the way, and then certainly bring my own experiences into the conversation. So what's going to happen is think of it, this presentation as a 9 section storyboard outline. When you create videos or films, you have what are called storyboards, and you sort of sketch out what you're going to move from A to B to C all the way down and along. So think of this presentation now as a storyboard outline. It's a guide for moving forward. And again, I remind you, you can edit whatever is here to make it your own, to create your own path. So, with that, I'm just going to again remind you, grab your pen, pencils, notebooks, tablet. You can certainly stop along the way and write some notes to yourself, but we're going to go over 9 areas as we move forward. This value solo aging with confidence. The key here is to remember it's about confidence, yes, but it's also from a solo aging point of view. But you can, by extension, take solo out, just leave it as aging, and there's still value here for you. Now, this idea of valuing solo aging with confidence means, from a broad brush stroke point of view, it's taking a look at your accumulated experiences, the knowledge that you have, the wisdom that you have, encircling it with this solo ager confidence lens, and attempting to figure out what is it that is your strengths here that you can bring forward in and for your well-being and well living. And it's these beliefs that you're pulling forward that forms the foundation of creating a meaningful legacy. So when I created this storyboard, I said to myself, what I'll do is I'll give 3 actions that one can take connected to this subtitle, and then just elaborate on one of them. So the 3 ideas here for valuing solo aging with confidence is establish a supportive community. You may not think that that's one of the first ones I would start with, but I would encourage you right out of the gate is who is going to be in your supportive community. And then plan and document your legacy. Start to outline it. And in particular, focus on physical and mental emotional well being. And what I'm attempting to get at here is prioritize activities that enhance your physical, mental, emotional health. For me, I do a lot of walking. And with that, I use the muse and metaphors of nature to keep me in tune, to bring ideas forward. I would also encourage you to establish it as a routine, or if you prefer, ritual, tailored to your abilities and preferences. So there are days where I might walk 5,000, 6,000 steps. That's with the dog. And there's other days I might do 12,000 steps, double it up, take a little bit longer walk, and just enjoy being out there, stopping every once in a while, and just listening to what's around me at the time. Also, engage in mental stimulation, activities like puzzles and reading and learning new skills. For me, I'm learning all about YouTube and how to leverage YouTube shorts and long videos. So that's keeping me very much attuned to what's happening in that presentation style, but also keeping me present in learning, which is great. And also, I have learned is to maintain a balanced eating approach. I'm not going to say diet. I'm not going to use that form of idea to organize your eating, but pay attention to your eating and what you're eating, and make sure you get your physical health checkups. These are all going to strengthen, improve, and focus your physical and mental, emotional well being. Because with that, your quality of life could actually increase. Mine has. I find myself so enjoying my life. And I would bring Walter in here now is because Walter, as a composite of a lot of the other persons that I know, a lot of them do a walking. Some actually do day through hikes. Some do daily longer hikes. So they are expressing themselves through walking. And oh yeah, some of them actually do mountain biking as well. So that's a possibility because being able to have this physical, mental, emotional well-being, it helps you to increase your independence as you age. And what it does is it brings forward a little bit later on concepts like living in place, living in your place. So it's creating your path to aging. The next one I want to look at is the intersection of solo aging and legacy navigation. And I'm being very purposeful here in using the word navigation and intersection because solo aging and legacy, when they come together, they are an indirect way, in many cases, maybe even a direct way, of nurturing, nourishing confidence. So this notion or this concepts of legacy navigator is sort of like the guiding light to your solo aging. And what it does is it helps you to remember it's not necessarily about the material wealth that you are accumulating or accumulated. It's about a purpose driven living a legacy life. So it's not to say the wealth, the material wealth that you've created gets thrown out by any means. A lot of it will actually contribute to living a legacy life. And the confidence comes in the navigation, thinking about the use of a compass. I prefer gyro compass because it suggests that while there is the movement that's taking place, it's still pointing north. And if you look up gyro compass, you might find it's a great metaphor, even for yourself, for the path that you're walking. And this intersection, this navigation, what it's doing is it's helping you to pull out those pivotal moments in your life that you go, oh, that's a major marker of mine. And I think I can leverage that, and there's something I can learn from it. And it gets linked to um, crafting your understanding of values. It also gives you very much insights into the type of projects that might align with your experiences and how you might want to bring those experiences forward. I know with Walter, he um, crafted a personal living life value statement. I thought that was kind of interesting. So as that composite, there's a number of people sat down and took their journal out and wrote up their value statement, and some of them, through Walter, actually created some wonderful, simple legacy projects. one person went so far as to say is that every week on a Monday, Tuesday, depending on what the weather's like, he'll take a little trash bag with him and will clean the path that he walks on, because he just says it's a great way to keep looking at the path without seeing odd colors. That's how he expressed it, was these odd colors that don't go with nature. And he picks those up and then he brings them to the trash bin at the head of the trail. I thought that was really great. But what I want to do is really pick up here is reflect on life's pivotal moments and values. Really pick up on it here. So make sure that you set aside some dedicated time for self reflection, reflection in, reflection on. And one of the things that helped me is that I took a timeline. I created a timeline of my life, and I marked out some significant events in my life. When I went to university away from home, when I went on my first trip, I thought I was going away for 6 months. I came back 4 years later. And along there, I did some really interesting things. There's other times where I touched other continents for activities for work overseas. So I put those down as markers. When I fulfilled my different education requirements for degrees, I put those down. Major markers like when I published my first book. So I'm giving you some ideas here for you to think about, well, what are some of the markers along your continuum? And if you write them down now, you start to have them as insights for later when we move along this path that I'm describing for you. And what happens is, or what I learned, I guess is a better way to express it, is make sure that you identify the before, during, and after aspects of those moments. What was the meaningful pattern for you? And when a couple of the characters who are Walter did this, they said that they saw that there was always an element of hiccup that led into that um, that really important movement, that marker. And we were able to come back and figure it was something to do with confidence. And that became really great meaning for them to make some decisions about what would be the upcoming markers, what would be the upcoming living a legacy life, the legacy projects. And they found that to be very valuable, and they've kept doing it even when they have done some of the simple legacy projects as well. So I thought that that was really wonderful. The next one I want to look at is discover your essences, the those aspects of your character, of being me, myself, and I. The best way to express it here, and it requires quite a bit of self discovery. And well, I talked about the notion of those markers, those events. There are even maybe pivotal moments or interests, especially values. Uh, we all live according to our hierarchy of values. There are certain things that we place on this hierarchy, and we always come back to them, and they affect our life decisions. And these values, when you start to understand them, they create like a mosaic, like the picture that you see here. And this mosaic is combinations of all different kinds of, well, it could be words and shapes and diagrams. Think of it like a visual language that you bring together. And what they do is they bring to the foreground this notion of, well, what's my self-reliance? How do I take care of myself? And what are the challenges that I've overcome? And if I link them back into values, my value set, then I have a much deeper, richer way in which to look at what is unfolding in my life and what I enfolded into my memories and my beliefs. that have shaped my character. One thing that I have learned along the way is that the legacy that you share expresses your authenticity. And with that, I've come to really appreciate the values that you have and you express through your legacy. So, three things to think about, and I'll expand on one of them is identify your core interests. Yeah, your interests. What are you interested in? I'm interested in writing. I've been writing for years and years. I have bins of poetry that I'm now scanning and bringing out, editing, and I'll be creating some books with them. I also have lots of articles and tools and techniques that I created throughout my career. Just same as Walter, he has lots and lots of activities that he has created through his own work, his own career, and he's looking at figuring out ways in which to bring them out through his legacy approach as well. The other thing is consider journaling. Okay. Now, it's a little bit different than diarying. Journaling is one that you could leave behind like a memoir. You could say, I've journaled out, here's my ideas. The diary tends to, you're keeping a little closer to your heart, a little closer to yourself, whereas a journal, you could lay it out on the table and people could read it to get insights into what you were thinking and feeling at the time. So I share with people is that the journal could become your memoir. It's maybe a shortcut, possible. See what it happens for you. Okay. And then what I'd like to do is really get you to reflect on your life values. Really take some time to look at the hierarchy of values. Now, values are this expression of ideas, beliefs that are core to you. And then when you express them, a person really comes to understand your character and the consequences of your interaction. And when you express them and you share them through action, it becomes obvious to others. And that's an expression of the legacy. And that's how people remember you. If there's a crossing, you express it one way but do something another way, well, you're not expressing your values. You're just making up some statement where in fact it actually miscommunicates who you are. So with the journal that you're using, okay, then what you're able to do is write those down, explore them. Now, one of the things that you can do is do a search for what are a list of common values if you don't understand what your values might be. So sometimes they can be linked to your mental values, what it is that links to your mental acuity, what you believe. It could be vocational from a career perspective, spiritual, environmental. There are different values that get expressed. But when you look through your journal, you'll start to see things pop out. You might see words like respect, trust, community, caring. When you start to see those kind of words and you start going, oh, hang on a minute, there's not many people who would argue the importance of trust or respect or caring. Those are values that you can tap into. So I'm hoping that that helps you. Now, again, um, if there's any questions you might have, you can pop them into the comments section below the video. But you can also use the contact form on wealthmovement.com to send over a question that has a bit more of a private route. The comments below tends to be a little bit more public. So again, I'll help you out the best that I can. Let's take a look at shape your narrative. This is one that I so enjoy. So now that you've sort of got a sense of those um, big pivotal events, the notion of your own value system, you start to have something that you can start to share and shape a narrative, a story, if you will. And what this does is it gives meaning to the benchmarks, milestones along the way, bringing it together, connecting all of that for others to read, and especially other solo agers, because there's something here that I'm going to encourage you to do. So with this, um, you're balancing up what you might call your material wealth and your uh, collective wealth with others, WELLTH, your experiences. So, because you're identifying your key milestones and giving them shape and narrative to them, I would encourage you to connect with those fellow solo agers. Where are they? Where can you find them? And there are different places you can reach out to, different social platforms that you can go to. Sometimes they're in community centers where you might live, or reach out to friends and see who else that they know that they would make an introduction to. But I'm encouraging you to do that for this reason: while you're on your unique journey as a solo ager, it's really important to adventure together with other solo agers. And when you do that and you plan and undertake some really fresh adventures, okay, that align with your interest and values, and you look at the travel opportunities, and again, that can just be walks around the park, or go for a hike at a regional park somewhere just down the road. It could be about taking up hobbies and you're having conversations, whatever way it would look like. But through scheduling the time to adventure together, to pursue these adventures, it becomes a way in which to just go, oh, here's some new ideas, new interpretations. I can do some investigations, some inquiries with others that I'm interacting with. I can then bring that back to my journal. And because of what I've learned about journaling to this point in time, you might say, well, could I take it out, some of these ideas out through a blog or a vlog, a video blog? And about your experiences, use something like YouTube. There's many people who created this sort of vlog idea. And then what happens is, because of these adventures, you can then reflect on your journey interacting with others and figure out what might be the highlights of you with them and them with you. And that deepens and enriches your personal growth. And it actually contributes to a very well-rounded legacy, a Hale and Hearty legacy life. Through Walter, there's been a couple of people that they took this idea of adventures together and they said, well, hang on a minute. This could actually turn into a vlog, but I could actually link mentoring with that. Hang on a minute, I could create a business. Oh, okay. So they created a very simple business of mentoring, and one used it to do a version of forest bathing, going out with small groups into the outdoors. Another person used it to be able to help people write their memoirs. I thought that was great. All right. And it just came about because they were moving through what I'm sharing with you, and they shaped the narrative, and that narrative linked to something. So I thought that that was an interesting component. It's sort of like, for me, it's a bit of a pivot point in terms of really bringing to life this notion of confidence as a key to solo age experiences to live this hale and hearty legacy life. So um, take it for what it's worth. And at this point in time, I'd really encourage you, slow down, if not pause the video, and just take a little bit of time and go, what? what's happening for me? What would be my story? What would be the narrative that I would want to bring forward? To live with purpose from the story that you've created for yourself, there's a purpose statement in there. It's sort of like a short story that when you express it, there is the sense of the values, your interests, and how you want to interact in being for the world with the planet from the whole. And it's what a person, when they hear it, they would go, "Oh, there's an expression of joy here that the person's sharing with me." There's some sense of, "Oh, can I connect with that?" Oh, that's the causes. This is what is going to be a bit different because of what that person is doing. There's a resonance of shift that will take place because of this purpose statement, living with purpose. And when you express it, um, there's sort of a tickling of the heart. I'll use it that way. Your wholeheartedness gets expressed through this statement. And what that does is it activates this sense of joy, the activities that bring joy to you. And it also reminds yourself of what causes your championing that resonate with your values. But more importantly, it builds and nurtures meaningful connections. So I've been bringing a theme through from a connections, relationships, because from a solo aging point of view, one of the things that I hear is words like slipping into loneliness, find myself without support. I don't feel like I've got a sense of direction. Words like this, and I say, well, hang on a minute. If you take up this challenge of leveraging, or what I prefer, leveraging confidence through activities, the solo aging activities that I've been expressing, you would take care of a lot of those um, excuses that you might use, or ways of avoiding getting involved with activities, things that would bring you down versus reframing them, rescripting them, reimagining them in ways in which to bring yourself forward with this sense of joy. So, this idea here with the meaningful connections is to find the support networks that you need. And again, friends, community, there are ways in which to bring that forward. And then make sure that there is some meeting regularly. I have a friend. We get together probably every 6 weeks. It's by Zoom. He lives in another part of the country, so we're using Zoom. But we share what we're up to. We're roughly the same age. He's doing some really interesting things around group conversations and movements. I have a little bit of that, so we're able to sort of balance each other's ideas, challenge each other. So it's always a great collaborative conversation that we're happening. And as you remain open to finding these new relationships, these new friendships, um, what they do is they bring new ideas in. They bring new interpretations. They provide new ways to do the inquiries. And that is really a wonderful way in which to gather information and knowledge and wisdom to help you with your transformation. And with that, once you bring all that together, then you can get into your on formation. Let me share another way of looking at that. Um, Often, what we do is we get in our way. We use excuses, isolation, don't have direction. Why not get on your way to find those activities, those causes, those friendships that move you forward, get you on your way? It's it's sort of saying, okay, I'm not going to take on a life where I'm going to avoid things happening to me. I'm going to take on a life where I attain things, I gain things. That's what this live with purpose is is all about. And as you get into it and then find a way to express it in a short story, a couple of words statement, oh, it tickles your heart. I think I've said that already. Share your wisdom. We've been shaping it up until this point in time, been journaling it, figuring it out, having conversations with others. So in some ways, it's sort of been a little bit close to who you are and what you're able to bring forward. I'm asking you to extend, expand that, and actually share your wisdom. Um, Legacy is very much it's about the useful whats you gift others so they can learn something from your lived experience. The useful whats of legacy are time, effort, and money. In what ways are you using your time, your effort, and your money and sharing it, this wisdom that you have, sharing it? Because what that does is it becomes a gift so that others can learn from you. And I use the word gift here because I think of it this way: a present, or you giving a present, is from your head. This notion of legacy as a gift comes from your heart. And when you're living it in that way, then remember, your journals can become a way to share it. You could publish them. There are some people who have learned how to sketch and doodle and noodle and their journals are just wonderful documents that could be published just as they are. You could write legacy letters and craft really wonderful letters for people. And sometimes that's a forgotten art almost, because most people go, okay, well, I'll type it up in an email. Now, you could put the letter into an email. I appreciate that. Or you could make it as an attachment. Hey, the post office is still working. Handwritten could be a lot of fun because you can doodle and sketch some ideas into the letter as well. And they always resonate when received. Um, yes, the digital platforms are there that you can share them out through. There are different places where you can post articles. This notion of YouTube and videos, there are that platform to work with. You can put a blog together on a website. There's lots and lots of ways in which to use digital platforms to share it, get it out into a wider audience. And I would encourage you to write even books, ebooks, and share it that way, because the writing is a way in which to bring all of your ideas and moments and milestones and markers together in such a way that you can help others along a path, that they can create their path from what it is that you're sharing. A little bit like what I'm attempting to do here. I have what is it now? I've published, I think, is it 20 books in different formats at this point in time. I have quite a few more coming out that I want to get written based on some of my career, but I also have a whole bunch of books that I want to write connected to Walter and a lot of the different characters, and they're going to be a little bit more like that has a fantasy aspect to it, an allegory style of writing to go with that. So I'll see how it goes, but because you're documenting your journey, share the wisdom from those documents and share insights on solo aging. It's an area that doesn't have a lot of insights or personal experiences, and people are always appreciating what it means to live a solo aging lifestyle. A legacy solo aging lifestyle. Wow, there's something there because read the other people's legacy stories about solo aging and what they're doing can be another way to access ideas for yourself. So give it a go and see what takes place. But here's what I would really encourage you to do is to engage in legacy conversations. Now, these legacy conversations are very much what I call collaborative conversations. Collaborative in the sense that both parties, or maybe there's two or three there, all are assertive in their presentation, yet cooperative in that conversation. So no one person is overriding another person. There's sort of a freewheeling exchange that's taking place. That's collaborative conversations. And with that, you, um, this is the best way that I can express it, is that interpretations of your values, your experiences, your lessons learned bubble to the surface. And you can grab those and put them into the story that you're creating, to do a check and balance of your values, to do a check and balance of that. Remember that line of different events and just add a little bit more color, sounds, smells, tastes to this life and your ability to express it with others so that they might learn from you. So share your wisdom. It'll be so appreciated. I, I, it's true. Share your wisdom. People will appreciate it. Navigate transitions. Hmm. Navigate is here and transition is here for two reasons. Navigate, to navigate the gates. Think of it as a bit of a metaphor. There's gates you got to open, walk through, gates you got to open, walk through. To be able to move down a path, sometimes there's gates in the way. The transitions is to remind ourselves is that as we're living, as we're moving forward, there are transactional, transformational, and transcendent interactions that we're having. These are the three styles of transitions that move you along. And sometimes they're different kind of gates that you've got to navigate in those transitions. And solo aging sometimes brings some very interesting gates to you, and each one of us then navigates those gates. Think from a health or a housing, mental, emotional, a spiritual. There are different kind of gates that present themselves. Now, sometimes those gates are a little stuck, and you really got to work them. Sometimes they just open up freely. You walk through, you don't even have to close them. They're just closing their own very gracefully. Sometimes you have to close them and lock them up and deal with it. That's okay. You work through the gates. And that's what navigate the transitions is about. So I would encourage you to embrace the shift that goes with those, the adjustments and the corrections that you make along the way. And it's at these navigate transitions where you've got to really find the strength within yourself, to bring this story of confidence to the surface. When you do, then you're able to find better, wiser, and kinder ways to deal with the transitions that present themselves. So, core here, and this is something that Walter has brought to me on many occasions, is understanding resilience and the connectors of relevance and reciprocity. And Walter shared with me, and I hadn't really thought of it, but he said, there are times when twists and turns and ups and downs, when you go into a down, One of the things to do is to recognize you're going to come up the other side, and most likely, from a resilience point of view, you're going to come up in a better place because of what you've learned. But the key in resilience is don't go into dysfunction in the downward, into the hole. And I went, that is so true. And I can remember years ago in some of my coming on, I would go into dysfunction. And when I learned this concept, I learned that walking was one of the ways that I did not go into dysfunction. So if I found myself in a bit of a challenging time, I was going through some kind of transition, I would often go for a walk and just be quiet with myself. And I may not even think, I just might walk along the path and just listen to the bird song or just feel the wind blow through or listen to the leaves and just so enjoy the walk. And when I came back, I found myself a little bit more grounded. I felt a little bit lighter, and it helped me to deal with what was taking place. So that was a form of like mindfulness. Some people might use meditation. Those might be other words that people use. But the physical activity for me really made a lot of sense. And it does boost your physical health as well. So think about that. Now, friends, that's why this support network of the friends, um, grab a mentor. A mentor could help you out. I have a mentor friend who does a lot of work in the grief area, and he is helping a lot of solo agers or people in the latter parts of their careers getting ready to move away from the career into their aging, their next 50, and he's helping them with those transitions. And he's doing a great job. And he and I have created an approach to mentoring, a certification of mentoring. So that's one of our legacy projects. So it's a co-creation. So there's an example of another way to do is co-create legacy projects as well. So with this idea of resilience and sharing and bringing it to the foreground and dealing with it, behind it is figuring out what's relevant to you and where you can do reciprocity. What's relevant to you is I will continue doing this, or I will start doing this, and I will stop doing this. The reciprocity is if there is a two-way exchange that's taking place, the collaborative conversations, then the reciprocity takes place. And it's a great way in which to deal with and navigate these transitions. So foster resilience, foster relevance, foster reciprocity. And when you do that, you'll be able to navigate these transitions that present themselves to you. To cultivate self confidence, what I'm getting at here, it's a reminder to go deeper into and enrich your own life, this Hale and Hearty legacy life. It's crucial to get into and understanding your self-esteem, your self-concept, to truly face the challenges that are there, not to avoid them, to really get in there with your resilience, with your relevance, with your reciprocity, really get into them. Find that purpose-driven statement. Face those uncertainties with that strength, improve and focus, living your life. Um, really cultivate it. I'm using that word, not to build a foundation so much that's, yes, you could think about that from a confidence, but it's to cultivate the garden, the seeds that you plant, what is growing for you, the self-confidence, all right? So that you can deal with the self aging issues as they present themselves with some assurance. I can deal with them. I've got this. And when you do that, you can Set up your personal goals, achieve them, set up your outcomes, and then accomplish them with others. These are important ways to move forward. And this nurturing of the supportive network, okay, allows you to test, um, to bring forth these ideas and see what others think about them. And in there, I would encourage you, yes, to journal. I get that. Is there another creative process that you could tap into? I, over time, have played with watercolors, and I've created a technique where I can create watercolored puzzles. I lay down a watercolor a base of all different colors, and then I look and see what kind of shapes or diagrams are inside there. I draw the outlines, and then what I do is I have a starting point and an end point, starting point and an end point, and you've got to go around the outline to find out how to get from one to the other. So you have the base of watercolors, this outline that I see in there, a starting point and an end point. And along the way, I might put, if this is the line and I put a line over it, that means you can't use that line. You stop there, you got to go back, find another way through. So again, it's this getting at the mental acuity puzzles, but it's a creative process that you use to enjoy yourself. Now, someone may pick up knitting. I actually did some knitting at one point in my life. I found out that I'm not great with my hands using tools like that. That's why I never got into carpentry and all that. I feel like these tools, that hammers and nails and all these kind of things, whereas like my dad was just super, he could just do whatever he wanted. But for me, I was using my mind and picturing and my imagination, and that's where my strength came. So the notion of maps and knowledge, and that really became important for me. Again, you have your own way of doing it, and picking up some creative process would be valuable to you on your path to gaining this confidence that you want to have as you're solo aging. And I would encourage you, now I've mentioned it, but I want to illustrate it again, is that as you reach out and find other solo agers, read their stories, okay? Because there is confidence in their action. What is that? What is the nuggets that you can pull from those for yourself? And to be able to go, hmm, how could I leverage that? Oh, how could I leverage that? How could I really bring that into my being for the world, with the planet, from the whole? Welcome your legacy journey. Welcome your solo aging experiences. Welcome your living a Hale and Hearty legacy life. Yeah, welcome it. Just be there. Well, let it come into you. Your well being, your well living. Just welcome it. Say, it's great to see you. It's wonderful to see you. I'm going to enjoy being with this journey, with those who are going to journey with me. My unique journey, my adventures together. Welcome that into your self discovery, your purposeful living, your impactful sharing. Just welcome it and weave the threads of all of what it is that I've shared with you, and with like courage and authenticity, and the notion of the resilience, the relevance, the reciprocity. Weave those like threads to become strings, to become cords, to become ropes. Braid them together, weave them together, or weave those threads into strings that can be used to make tapestries, um, to use in knitting, crocheting, whatever it might be, to be able to create collages, weave all of those kind of things together in a creative process to share your story. And therefore, be the architect of your story. Yeah, you're going to build it. The architect's your story. I would offer to you there is an architect, and instead of the TECT at the end, TEXT. So the architect is using technology. The architect is using the text and the textures of your life. I like to play with words. I thought I would share that one with you. You need the architecture and you need the architecture. So bring them both into your life, and being able to use the architecture to um, physically bring the story together, the legacy together, and the architecture to share your story, to bring it into the foreground for yourself. So I would encourage you here, define your legacy, shape it, share your legacy, most importantly, live your legacy. Live the legacy you intend to leave. When you do that, you align your actions that you're taking to live your legacy. What you're also doing is you're grabbing opportunities, and I'm grabbing opportunities for personal growth, community engagement, getting the creative process moving for yourself. Practice kindness, caring, gratitude, grace in all of what you do. Shape your legacy through collaborative conversations. Get out there and meet others from a solo aging. Don't slip into the issues that people talk about. Instead, attain, move forward to have those collaborative conversations with others. And celebrate the journey. Celebrate you have this confidence. Celebrate those solo aging experiences. Celebrate living a Hale and Hearty and wholehearted legacy life. And it's okay to mention that, to share that with others in whatever way makes sense for you. And people go, thank you. Okay, so just think about it from that perspective, and see what happens for you, and take it from there. Confidence. The key to solo aging experience is to live a Hale and Hearty legacy life. I've outlined a path for you. At this point in time, you may want to go back and listen to the different segments of the path. Open up like a storyboard. There was 9 storyboard sections to go through. I'll also, in the comments below, a pinned comment will be a link to an article that brings all of what I'm sharing with you out to you. So if you prefer to read the text, the blog article, it will be there for you as well. But I think the key here from me to you is that when you live a Hale and Hearty life, you attain social aging experiences, you are gaining confidence. You have solo aging confidence. You are solo aging confidently. And it's because of doing all these kind of things that you come to understand your self concept. You come to understand who you are as a person. Walter has done that over many interactions with all the different people he's met. Walter has been a great source of insight for me and the conversations that I have with him, albeit being imaginary in some ways. but also of all the persons that I have interacted with. I thank them for helping me to figure out this confidence that I have to engage in my solo aging experiences, to live this Hale and Hearty, wholehearted legacy life. And my legacy is coming out through something called Awareness. And it's a YouTube channel, and I'll put a reference to that in the pin notes below as well. So I'm actually bringing to the foreground a legacy project while I'm sharing it here, a path, a storyboard, an outline, a guide through this video. I'm actually doing what I'm sharing with you with awareness. So that's an example that you can tap into to see what's happening. And a couple of options are available. Get involved with it if you want, or just learn from it, from what's there, the videos that are there, the kind of things that I'm doing, and see how that might get you thinking, oh, okay, I hadn't thought of it that way, and off you go, living your wholehearted legacy life. So with that, I wish you the best and take care.